Hi there. Welcome to the Sober Circle channel. Enjoy this speaker tape.
Hi everybody, I'm Mickey and I'm an alcoholic. Probably an addict. I identify that way in Alcoholics Anonymous because that's the way you like it done, you know. When I was speaking Cocaine Anonymous on Narcotics Anonymous, I identify as an addict and probably an alcoholic because that's the way they like it done, you know. I don't care one way or the other, but absolutely essential that I identify as an alcoholic. I love that identification. I love this book. I love this big book, Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm in a little bit of, I was just kind of cruising now, drinking this coffee, and we'll give you a clue that you won't be hearing Cured up here tonight. Look. You know. Two. If one's good, two's better, right? Yeah. Yeah. I do know my disease is one of more. You know, I want more of everything. It don't matter what it is, you know. The only thing I ever done in moderation was the steps. So, I don't even know what I'm going to say up here tonight, but I do know I'm going to want more time to say it in, you know. So, well, I guess if runs to form, you better have a 2-hour tape or something, no chicken shit 45-minute tape, you know. I better get off the hook here real quick. I want to ask God, my God of my understanding, my HP, my higher power, not human power, to put the words in my mouth that he wants me to say tonight. And I ask him for that. And I ask him to give you the benefit of hearing what he wants you to hear. So, Father, give me the words that you want me to say tonight. And let me carry the message. All right, I'm off the hook now. Everything that comes out is what his words say, you know, right? That's just to let you know, if I cuss or something, it's your fault, right? You know. I was told today that one of the speaker selection committee voted against stabbing me as the speaker, you know. Huh. Anyway, what's going to go on here? I say that one time because I did a talk once, and the guy who made this little medallion that I wear around my neck, another limey. I'm a limey, lush and loady, by the way. You know, this is the way I talk. Alcohol didn't do this to me. You know, I can't blame alcohol for this, you know. And this guy was standing, you know, there, and he made this thing, and I've had it from the very first day. I got clean and sober. January the 15th, 1983 was the very first meeting I ever went to, and I haven't drank since, and for that I'm grateful. Yeah. But anyway, I was standing just chit-chatting to Brian after one of these talks, and, you know, a stream of guys were coming up and thanking me and stuff like that, and, you know, they come, oh, well, thank you very much, thank you very much. And one guy came up and, you know, and he was just bubbling over. He was having what I call a gratitude attack. Does anybody have gratitude attacks here? You know, I do all the time, you know, where you just come over, ooh, like that, you know, and you just have one of those. I'm having one now, can you notice? And he was having this gratitude attack, and he'd come up and give me a big hug, and he went, oh, man, I've been struggling in that whole area. Nobody's ever talked the way you talk. You hit the nail right on the head. I'm so grateful. I'm so glad. You know, thank you so much for explaining that whole issue for me. I went, oh, all right, that's all right. I turned to Brian, I said, did I say that? He said, no. I hadn't said it, but he'd heard it. I took the credit anyway. Yeah. So, you know, I guess that's what we're supposed to be doing here. I'm real glad to be here. I am especially glad to be here. I'm feeling the gratitude of being here in the good old US of A. The two most grateful things I have, I think, in my entire life that I can ever remember is to be clean and sober and to be here in America. I love being here in America, and I'm real grateful for that. I've just been over in Europe. I got back on Wednesday night. I live in Los Angeles now. I've done for the last 15 years. I just went over to England to see my mum, and she's great. Yeah, she's good. I'll probably send her a tape of this talk. So let's all say hello to my mum, right? Okay. 1, 2, 3, mum. Hello, mum. Right? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Hi, mum. That's from Reno, Nevada. Thank you. Yeah. I didn't think they were sick enough for me here, Mum, but I can tell they are. That's real strange as well. I was over there talking to some guys from Utah, and I'm going to be there at the end of the month. And, you know, it was just reminded, I got asked to speak in Temple City down there in San Gabriel Valley a while back, and the secretary called me up and said, would I come and yak it up at their meeting? And I was just like teasing her. I said, you know what? I said, I drove through Temple City once, and, you know, I don't think they're sick enough for me down in Temple City. Yes, we are, she said. Yes, we are. Don't say we ain't sick enough. You know, only in AA will we, like, you know, get all indignant if someone says we ain't sick enough, you know. You know, so. But I got back on Wednesday from you know, I've been over there 5 weeks, and I tell you, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like the AA here. Go to meetings there, it's there. And I was in Gibraltar on the Thursday, and Spain on the Friday, Paris, France on the Saturday, London, England on the Sunday, Hollywood Big Book Study on the Monday, and 5 different meetings in 5 different countries in 5 different days. And I love that. That's what I do. I go to meetings. I'm a meetings man, you know. And people don't always understand that. My friends don't understand that. They say, "What the hell did you go to so many meetings for, Mick? Like, you know what? You know, why did you go to so? Like, what are you going to a meeting for tonight? You went to a meeting at lunchtime, for heaven's sake." I say, "Listen, come here, pal. When I was out there drinking, if anybody ever said you're coming down the pub tonight, Mick, I never once said no. I went to one at lunchtime. Did you?" So I go to meetings. I go to lots of meetings. I love being in meetings. I love being in Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. You know, when I'm in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, I'm in the right place, doing the right thing with the right people for the right reasons. And the more times I can do that, the better I like it. You know, wasn't always the case, but there you go. You know, it felt so good to, like, stand up, hold hands, and say the Lord's Prayer at the end of our meeting. We just did it in at the Al-Anon meeting. A great talk by Pat. Where was Pat? We just did a great Al-Anon talk, and I love being in there and holding hands. They don't do that. I haven't done that in over 5 weeks, and I missed it. You know, the things that we do here that they don't do everywhere else, and I missed it, man. I missed virtually everything about, you know, the meetings that I go to and how I got sober. And we are so blessed to have as much of everything we got here. We haven't got it everywhere. I was just in Barbados a little while ago, and do you know what? They haven't even got big books over there. One guy's sober 8 years and never ever owned a big book. I gave him mine, but, you know, they don't have all that. So for them to even get literature, they got to first of all get the money together to send off for it, and then it's got to come parcel. Post takes 4 or 5 months, and you know, it's just a drag. But we have everything we need here. Sometimes we don't always appreciate that, but, you know, I do today. I'm real glad to be here. Real glad. I was real glad to be here in Reno. And just feeling good about that. All right, what's going to go down? I come back, and I got back to LA on Wednesday, and I was told that my boss can't afford to pay me, you know. So that's part of life on life's terms, isn't it? You know? I don't know what that's all about, but, you know, that's what it is. I said, "Oh, that's all right. I'm going to Reno. Living in the now." Don't worry me today. You know. But it's life on life's terms, isn't it? You know, life on life's terms. Ain't always fair, is it? You know. I don't know about you, but no one ever told me it would be fair, did they, you? You know, if you want fair, go to bloody, like, you know, the state fair or something, you know. I mean, no one ever said it was fair. We got friends in Russia now, over in Moscow, and we got meetings over there, and just in case there's anybody think that they're, like, being picked on or something, life on life's terms ain't always fair, and, you know, it ain't God that's doing it to us, and that kind of thing. In Russia, you know, does anybody here speak Russian? I'll teach you all some Russian, okay? Here's what they call life on life's terms in Russia. Tufsky shitsky, okay? So now you all know some Russian, okay? So that's what happens. I get home and get told that my boss can't afford to pay me, so then it's up to me whether I leave or not or whatever. So that's part of what's going on. But here we are, staying sober anyway, because that's what it's all about, staying sober. Anyway, I have no idea where I'm going with this. I have no idea what's going on here right now. But I'm the product of a 12-step call, a wonderful 12-step call. I didn't know I was being 12-stepped. I didn't know anything about Alcoholics Anonymous. I didn't know anything about the disease. You know, I didn't know anything about being an alcoholic. I didn't know it was a disease of denial. You know, just didn't know that. Didn't have a clue. I was being 12-stepped. Didn't know I was being 12-stepped. Guy who was 2.5 years sober was planting the seeds. You know. Like they say, when the pupil's ready, the teacher arrives, and that was what happened with me. My best thinking never got me here. I didn't wake up one day and say, oh, well, I think I'll use my best thinking and go to AA and get my life in order. You know, I didn't say that. You know, I came out of another 2-day blackout, you know, because I'm a blackout drinker. Any other blackout drinkers here? And the rest of you lying mothers. You know, I know one when I see one, don't worry about that, yeah. Yeah, I never even knew what a blackout was. I came out of this 2-day blackout, I didn't know. Got to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. I back up, let's say, because we say in a general way what we were like, what happened, and what it's like now, right? So I'll probably get into what we were like, but what happened, I came out of a 2-day blackout. Maybe this will tell you. I came out of this 2-day blackout. I don't know. I'm sitting at my coffee table. On my coffee table is some AA literature. There's a copy of the big book, Alcoholics Anonymous. This book here, this beautiful book. I love this book. And, you know, I don't know where it's come from or what the hell it's doing there, but there was an LA meeting directory. Now, I lived in West Hollywood. Some of you may know West Hollywood. It's kind of a special area, you know. Some of us call it Boys Town, you know. If you're not sure what that means, it means that if you drop your wallet on Santa Monica Boulevard, you've got to kick it up to Sunset before you can pick it up, right? Yeah. Oh, you do understand. I'm glad. Yeah. So I see this. I don't know where it's come from, but a girl I was renting. It was a 1-bedroom apartment. I was renting the bedroom out to a girl, and she'd been busted on 2 drunk drive-ins and sentenced by the courts to AA meetings. And she'd been and brought this literature home and left it around on the coffee table. And I'd gone out on the Sunday lunchtime. And I'd gone out, we was like doing some stuff then, and it was, Sunday was this one particular day, we had to keep it like straight because we had a gig to do that night, and it was a very important thing that we had to do. So it was one day where we sort of said consciously to ourselves, now we mustn't get wasted, mustn't get loaded today. So what we decided to do, nice sunny day, went out on the bikes to the pub, the English pub in Laurel Canyon then it was, and it's called the Cat and the Fiddle. Figured we'd have lovely English lunch, like roast beef, Yorkshire pudding, roast potatoes and stuff, and take it easy. Well, you know what happened? I came out of the blackout 2 days later, right? Sitting at my coffee table. Now, you guys that claim that you was blackout drinkers, if you're a blackout drinker like me, you come out of these blackouts and you never quite forget everything, but you can't remember everything either. And you can't quite put it all together quietly, and you can't remember little things, and that old Rolodex goes off in your head, you know, like where was I, what was I doing, and all that, you know. Couldn't quite put it together. My best friend and longest friend at that time, the one that I'd just been visiting in Amsterdam just now, as a matter of fact, was visiting LA at that time, and, you know, he's mega wealthy, mega bucks, and calls himself an international businessman, you know. International crook is what he is, but anyway, you know, I come out of this blackout sitting at my coffee table, I don't know where I've been and what I've been doing, and it's Tuesday, and I go, wow, you know, and my skin don't fit, and I just like don't feel good, and I pick up the phone, and I call my pal, and he's really peeved. He's really pissed off, you know, and I said, what the hell's wrong with you? Because that's what I always said. I don't know whether you can relate. I never ever said, what about me? You know, it was always like, what's wrong with you? And he said, I know it won't happen again because I won't be in your company when you're drinking anymore. I said, what? And I, screw you, and threw the phone down. But inside, I died. Inside, you know, it was like the first real time that it really mattered, and I didn't want to be ostracized by my best friend. And I called up this other pal I had at the time, and, you know, he was laughing, man. Now, I don't know about you, but alkies like me don't like to be laughed at. And he was laughing. I said, what are you laughing at? And he said, you. I said, why? He said, because you do weird shit, that's why, you know. I said, what do you mean? And he laughed again. I said, what are you laughing at? He said, you don't remember what you got up to over the weekend, do you? I went, no. He said, have you spoke to your pal Mickey? I'm pals with Mickey too. I said, yeah, he's really pissed off. And he laughed again. I said, don't keep laughing, for heaven's sake. Keep laughing all the damn time, you know. He said, I used to drink like you. I said, is that right? What's that like? He said, I haven't had a drink for 2.5 years. I said, is that right? Why? What, like, because I don't know I'm being 12-stepped. I know this character, but I don't know he's 2.5 years sober. Why the hell would I? I just like the beautiful book says, you know, selfish, self-centered and self-seeking. I may not be very much, but I'm all I think about. You know, and, you know, I don't know he's 2.5 years sober, for heaven's sake. He's laughing at me, that's all he's doing. You know, what are you laughing at, for Christ's sake? He said, like, you don't remember, do you? I said, no, what happened? He said, well, it all started after you peed in that lady's dinner. I said, what? He said, don't you remember when we was in that nice smart restaurant, he said, all having a good time, and that old dear pissed you off, he said, and you just got up and whipped it out and did it right in her spaghetti. I went, oh, shit. And I didn't remember that. I went, oh, I'll speak to you later, and I was like, all embarrassed, and, you know, how we feel, and the first thing that come to my mind was, how the hell can I get out of this? You know? You relate to that, huh? Because I would do stuff like that, you know, and I wouldn't remember it because I was in a blackout. And I'd go back in that restaurant the next night or some other time, and I wouldn't have remembered what I'd got up to. And they wouldn't understand. They'd say, how the hell have you got the balls to come in here after what you did? And I go, what do you mean? And they wouldn't know what I meant, and they wouldn't understand, and they wouldn't understand, and they'd say, oh, you're weird, you're insane, you're nuts, you are. You know? And everybody else had all my life had said I was nuts anyway, so it didn't make any difference, just carried on. You know, different this time, because I've been a blackout drinker, I've been blacking out all my life, man. All my life I've been blacking out, never knew what it was. I'm a blackout drinker. I don't know what it is. I never even knew when I got to that first meeting. You know, I told a man a story. He said, yeah, he was in a blackout. I said, what? He said, we call that a blackout. Well, I don't know nothing about it being a disease of denial. You know, I said, no, I wasn't. I weren't in no blackout. I didn't know what it was, but denied it anyway, just in case. You know? I didn't know denial was D-E-N-I-A-L. Don't even notice I am lying. You know that one? Yeah, he said, no, we call that a blackout. I said, no, I was awake. I was doing stuff. I was walking around doing stuff. He said, I said, blackout, idiot, not pass out. I went, oh, because I never knew you did stuff in a blackout, like travel. Anybody do that? I came out of a blackout in all kinds of weird places, you know what I mean? Came out of a blackout once walking down a street in Spain. Didn't know how long I'd been in Spain or how long I got to Spain or how the hell I got there. You know, just like, oh, hi, Spain. Didn't make any difference, you know. Came out of a blackout in all kinds of weird and wacky things. All kinds of weird and wacky people. And, you know, I didn't know what they was or what happened. It's just part of life, part of drinking and part of what happened, you know. I don't know. Can anybody relate to that? Maybe you claim that you weren't in blackouts or don't remember. Do you ever, you know, well, look, let me put it to you this way. I never ever went to bed with anybody ugly. Did you? Did you? I never ever went to bed with anybody ugly. A long time ago, I discovered you could drink somebody good looking. You ever do that? Oh, yeah. So I never ever went to bed with them ugly, but they changed overnight. You know what I mean? And in the morning, like, oh man, do you ever do that? Wake up next to something and go, oh! One particular chick I remember went, oh, get out, get out. She said, you get out, this is my house. And kicked me out. I went, shit. Oh, you do relate, huh? I don't know. I go out Sunday, come out of the blackout Tuesday. I don't know where I've been, what I've been doing, no difference. But you know, like the beautiful book Alcoholics Anonymous talks about, pitiful and incomprehensibly demoralised. And I always came out of a blackout the same way. Pitiful and incomprehensibly demoralised. Actually, P-A-I-D is what that spells, which is paid. We paid our dues. Which reminds me, I never ever came out of a blackout with more money than I started with. Did you? Never ever came out of a blackout like happy, joyous and free. You know what I mean? Never ever came out of a blackout like doing something nice for somebody. You know, like giving a kid a toy or, you know, heading up a charity show or, you know, anything like that. It was always like pitiful and incomprehensibly demoralised, you know. And we have some humour about our drinking and stuff, but it's not all humorous. And many examples of coming out of blackouts and, you know, wasn't so healthy. I came out of a blackout. I got released from a maximum security prison sentence back in 1966, and 6 weeks later, I was chained down in a nut ward for the criminally insane on a murder charge, and a 21-year-old man was dead, and I didn't know what had happened. Now, that's the same blackout. 6 weeks. As I came out of that maximum security prison sentence, I was as physically sober as I am right now. I've been physically sober many times in my life. Every time they let me out of prison, every time they let me out of a nut ward, every time I come out, I came out sober. But you know, I never had no vital spiritual experience. I never had no psychic change. I never had no 12 steps or no Alcoholics Anonymous. I never had no fellowship. I never had no message. So of course I went back to do it all over again. I stood trial in the Old Bailey in London, England, on that murder charge. We manipulated the law and got off of that on a self-defence. You know, and I got found not guilty. But the man was just as dead, and I know today in my inventory that that was a direct result of my drinking, as is every bit of trouble I've ever been in. It's been a direct result of my trouble. Got a little message that I remember from that trial, though. You know, in England they hung you then, and the judge wore a black cap, and I saw it there on the front of the dock and what have you. And the prosecuting counsel, when he stood up and he you know, did his closing speech to the jury and stuff, and I distinctly remember this, and he said, "Members of the jury, on behalf of our sovereign lady the Queen, the people of the United Kingdom and the British Isles, the British Empire and the Commonwealth of Nations, we demand the ultimate penalty on this man. We demand that he be hung from the neck until dead." And I can remember thinking, you rotten bastard. You know? I mean, that's a lot of people. For the Commonwealth of Nations, they wanted me dead. Kind of makes it a little bit easier when one of you get pissed off at me. I've been pissed off at by nations, man. So, kind of take the message out of it today, but, you know, and that was what it was. I can remember being chained down in that nut ward, you know, on that murder charge, biting into my arms to try and determine whether I was dreaming or whether it was real, and I thought it was a dream or hoped it was a dream. I was so befuddled that I couldn't, determine what was what. Another maximum security prison sentence I came out of. I got released in the morning. My brother came and picked me up, and I was as sober as I am today, right now. And I came out of the blackout underneath some big lights like this, and a man with a clipboard similar to this was standing over me. And as I came out, this man was saying, like, yes, amputation, immediate amputation. Now, in my head, underneath these lights, I think that I'm in a party, delusionary thinking the book talks about, misconceptions, you know. I think that I'm in a party where the dudes are throwing a party for me coming out of prison, but it wasn't so. This guy was a surgeon and he was making notes on this pad. My dad had already signed the paper allowing him to amputate my leg, and they were about to cut my leg off. My face was smashed up, you know. And my brother was dying in the emergency room next door, and the mother of 5 children was already dead, and we'd had this horrendous accident, and it was the following day. I got released on the Friday morning. This was the Saturday morning. Well, of course, I said to this doctor when I heard amputate it, I said, I don't care if it even swings, leave it there, you know, and he did. And they had to, leave it there then. You know, I'm glad they did, but, you know, I came out of that prison sober. Many, many other blackout stories I can relate, but don't need to go any further, I don't think, along that line. You get the picture. You know, maybe you can relate. And I never knew what a blackout was. And when I'm in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, a man who does is telling me, and I just deny it. Because I don't know anything different. When I got to Alcoholics Anonymous, I was so sick. When I got to Alcoholics Anonymous, I was so sick that I didn't think I was sick. Now that's sick. Now even after I'd been around here for quite some time, I was so sick that I didn't think I was as sick as some of you sickos. Now that's really sick. So if there's anybody in the room tonight wondering whether they is or whether they isn't a real alcoholic, as described in our beautiful book, Alcoholics Anonymous, an alcoholic of our variety, if there's anyone wondering whether they actually is a real alcoholic or not, I want you to know that I can relate to being as sick as you don't think you are. You know? So I invite you to, I invite you to do what you guys told me. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. That's what you said to me. Keep coming back. You guys said, keep coming back. I said, what for? You said, well, we want you. I went, what for? All my life I've been wanted. You know, I mean, what have I done? They went, no, we love you. I went, yeah, don't talk to me like that. I don't like men talking to me like that. In West Hollywood, you know. And then, like, I did keep coming back, though, and one day one guy said, like, how long are you off the booze? I went, 3 days. And he went, 3 days? Wow, that's great. I went, really? Wow. And in my head, I thought, they're really going to think I'm hot when I, like, got 30 days, you know. And I did. I kept coming back, because all I really wanted was, like, people to like me and be part of something. You know, and you guys, all I had to do was stay, not drink, and you guys said, wow, that's great. And you did. You encouraged me to keep coming back. You made me feel good. You invited me to keep coming back. And it'd been a long time since I'd, like, felt good, you know. And so I did. I kept coming back, and I never drank. I never went to that first meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous with any desire to quit drinking. It's not to my conscious knowledge that I'd ever quit or tried to quit drinking before I actually went to that very first meeting on January the 15th, 1983. So I never went to the meeting with a desire of any kind, be it an honest desire or any other kind. And I'd never tried to quit drinking before. I don't relate to having stood at the turning point, half measures of ale as nothing, like our beautiful book describes. You know, I just hadn't done that. But I never drank again from that day to this. I still haven't drank from that day to this. You know? And I never went to the meeting to quit drinking, and I never quit. So I invite you to stop, to stay here, and come back, regardless of whatever it is that's going on in your head. You know, I never got there by mistake. You know, that beautiful 12-step call. And I've got news for you. They say you can't give away what you haven't got. The guy who was 12-stepping me, with 2.5 years sobriety, as I was coming in, as he was bringing me in, he was going out. You know, and about 3 years ago was the last time I saw him. In a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, on all fours, like barking at the moon, man. And he's never been seen since. Nobody I know's seen him since. It was about 3 years ago. So, and as I came in, he was going out. You know, I'm an alcoholic. I'm a total alcoholic. Everything about me is alcoholic. Everything I say, do, think and feel is alcoholic. Everything leads to drinking, no matter what it is. If I spit on the sidewalk, it leads to drinking. If I play with the old ding-a-ling, it leads to drinking. You know, everything leads to drinking, you see. Because I'm an alcoholic. There's not just a part of me alcoholic, or a big part of me that ain't alcoholic. I'm all alcoholic. See, so I have to apply these principles in all my affairs. Can't just pick out a few and try a few here. I've got to apply these, and I never knew that. I had to learn, like page 30 says, we had to learn. We had to learn that we were alcoholic. You know, had to fully concede to our innermost self that we were alcoholic. You know. This was the first step in recovery. The first step in recovery. I view that today, that the first step of Alcoholics Anonymous, yes, we admitted that we were alcoholic, that our lives were unmanageable. Yeah, but to me that's like an acknowledgement or a recognition of the disease. Maybe, you know, but, you know, the first step in recovery was right there on page 30, to fully concede to our innermost self that we were alcoholic. And, you know, I work in recovery today, and a lot of people can admit they're alcoholic, you know. But, you know, it has to go beyond that, to fully concede to our innermost self, like that says, that we are like not like our fellows and not going to be either, and not presently going to be able to drink again. And then the third step of what I try and pass on is the first step. We admit it, fully concede to our innermost self, and then surrender to it. Surrender to it. And then people don't often understand it. The guys in my house, they don't. You know, fully concede to our innermost self and then surrender to it. I had a guy just drink 9 months. He was sober. We were talking through it, you know, talking about what happened. I said, well, you know, it really does boil down to the surrender. He said, Mick, I surrendered, man. I surrendered completely 9 months ago. 9 months ago, I completely surrendered everything. I said, 9 months ago? What about this morning? He said, well, do you have to do it every day? Yes, every day. Every minute of every day. Surrender to it. Everything I do is under the influence of Alcoholics Anonymous and recovery. Everything. Everything I did when I was drinking was under the influence of booze. You know. And it's not always obvious, is it? You know, the delusion, you know, that alcoholic thinking. You know, when that disease gets talking to you. Anybody relate to that disease talking to you, by the way? Anybody relate to that voice? Anybody got a voice that goes off in their head? You know, that voice? That voice that just said to you, what voice? That voice. You know, that voice. The voice like 2 days ago sat on the edge of the bed. I woke up, the voice is on the edge of the bed, said, I'm glad you're awake, I've been waiting to talk to you. And it sets in, you know what I mean? Not a real alcoholic, Mick. You're not a real alcoholic. Now look, you're not a real alcoholic. If you was a real alcoholic, you'd be like that dick over there. But you're not like him over there. If you was a real alcoholic, you were just going through this rough patch. You're all right now, you're over the hump. You know what I mean? And this voice is going off and the disease is going like that. And then like the disease is talking to you, you know. And the very disease that tells you ain't alcoholic, what happens then? You know, if we're not in sound spiritual condition and not taking the actions that we need to take around here just not to drink. The actions we have to take. A-C-T-I-O-N, actions. Any change to improve our nature. Anybody relate to that? It's the actions we have to take around here. You know, the nature of the beast, the nature of the disease, the nature of the alcoholic, like our fifth step says. You know, the exact nature of our wrongs. We have to take those actions. And if we're not taking those actions and working these steps and these principles in all our affairs, that disease gets through, doesn't it? And that disease, what happens when that disease gets through and says, you're not really an alcoholic? Maybe some of you can relate, has had one of those little slippy poos. You know what I mean? You know what I mean by those slippy poos. I hear so much about slipping most of the time, I think it's one of the bloody steps. You know what I mean? Have you tried the slip step? No, I ain't tried that. Where's that? Right there in between 3 and 4. You know what I mean? Wrong. Slipping is not one of the steps, my friends. But we hear so much about it. Sobriety loses its priority is what it is. And when it does, that whole disease gets through. You could have a nice cold one on a hot day. You could take half a lewd just to get the edge off. Smoke a little pot, you know. I mean, you're entitled, you've been working hard, and yeah, that's right. And then, like, we sometimes succumb to it, don't we, if we're not taking those actions. And as we go like that, pour it out and drink it down. And then what happens 2 seconds after we take that first drink? What happens now? That very voice that 2 seconds earlier said you ain't alcoholic, what does it say now? Ha ha! Look at you now, drinking again. What a dick! Ha ha! You had 34 days. Ha ha! Drinking again. Well, you're a newcomer again now. Ha ha! You might as well really get shit-faced now. Remember that? Remember that? Oh, God damn! The last thing in my mind was to drink. I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to drink, for heaven's sake. And we didn't. We didn't want to drink, but that's the powerlessness of the first step. The powerless to me is not what I do when I drink. The powerless that I understand of the first step is that it makes us do shit that we don't want to do, including it. Not what I do when I drink. You know, that's alcoholic addictive behaviour. But it makes me do stuff that I don't want to do, including it. See, that's the powerlessness. Wasn't hard to admit that I was alcoholic. Wasn't no big deal for me to admit I was alcoholic. That first meeting guy told me, powerless over alcohol, life's unmanageable. I said, okay, I don't care. Alcoholic? They've been calling me nuts all my life. I don't give a shit. I'd rather be alcoholic than a nut. You know? So they said, you're alcoholic. I said, all right, I'm alcoholic. Just another part of my resume to me. You know what I mean? I went home and told my pal, I said, hey, guess what, Mick? I'm an alcoholic. I'm powerless over alcohol. My life's unmanageable. He said, no shit. Everybody else knew it anyway. I'm the only one in this delusionary thinking, this misconception that I'm a hipster. You know, think that I'm doing good. You know, it was no big deal to admit I was powerless over alcohol. That guy there, I was just in Amsterdam. Now he's got so much money, this guy, and like, he's got air. He said, do you think I'm alcoholic, Mick? I said, of course you are. He said, why? Now, isn't it difficult to tell a man that his life's unmanageable when he's got millions laying around everywhere, he's got everything money can buy? You know what I'm telling you, his life's unmanageable? Yes. Why'd you say I'm alcoholic? Well, because you black out for a start. Yeah, he said, I always blacked out. He said, I remember blacking out and not knowing how I got home and ending up in weird shit. He said, I don't care. And he don't. He don't care. He don't care whether he's alcoholic or not. He certainly don't want to do anything about it, like quit. I know loads of people who'd like to be sober if they didn't have to quit. You know? It's just the way it is, isn't it? So I don't know, but I'm a total alcoholic. Everything about me's alcoholic, for heaven's sake. And I'm an alcoholic. Read my lips. Alcoholic, 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 alcoholic. See? I don't want that disease to get through to me. I've got to apply these principles in all my affairs. You know? Now, I've got a little part of my story. Some people it offends. I ain't come here to offend anybody, but, you know, I'm an alcoholic that also did other things. I don't know whether you do or not. I went for brunch today. God, you know, now, I'm trying to I've just come back from England where my mother's been hurtling food down my throat for a month. Any other mothers do that to their sons? You know, and I'm gonna, you know, I got love handles no one's grabbing, man. You know what I mean? So I'm going to this buffet today and I want to try and, you know, trying to like, watch the old sugar intake and trying to eat a bit sensible. But sure enough, they got desserts there. Now, this is what happens to me. Now, I'm trying to act sensible, see, but I'm an alcoholic, man. So I go to the dessert tray. Now, do I want the fresh fruit? I want those big cream sticky shit. You know what I mean? Now, the sensible person in me says, you don't need none of that candy and none of that sticky shit, mate. You got love handles no one's grubbing, man. Oh, all right. But then the little kid in me says, well, I like sticky shit. And then the alcoholic said, take 3! With both hands! You relate to that, huh? ISM, alcoholism. ISM, I sabotage myself. I sponsor me. I self me. Yeah. Incredibly short memory. Ism, ISM. God. the behaviour we do without drinking but sets us up to drink again. Because when we have that slip, you know, people who have had them will tell you, and anybody setting themselves up, just check it. Because, like, you know, when you have that drink, that's not the slip, that's the end of the slip. The slip has occurred days, weeks, months before that. If I'm drinking in 3 months' time, you can bet your balls I'm setting myself up right now. See, that's where my sponsor comes in, where we come in together, because we ain't got to do that. But you know, the slip, we set ourselves up to do that drink, so that when we drink, that's actually the end of the slip. Sabotaging behaviour. Mary, my friend Mary, she's sober a bit longer than me, and we talk about the things we do, you know, without drinking, but like that set us up to destroy our life, to sabotage our life, you know. Maybe you can relate in these times of recession and stuff. Anybody, you know, like shopaholics, for example, or spending money they ain't got. Anybody spend money they ain't got here? How about running up those credit cards, right, you know? I got a whole bunch of credit cards now, you know. Never had no credit cards when I was drinking, you know, unless they were yours, you know. But, you know, we go shopping and spending stuff on myself, spending money, misappropriating money. Maybe the kids and the family need it more importantly, you know, but I deserve it. I deserve something for me. Go out spending, shopping. Mary goes, you know, spending money. Candy, sugar, food. All kinds of food. Anybody got overeating and stuff like that? We use food as a release. What about sex? There's a good one. Any little perverts there? Any big perverts here, you know? Mary's funny as hell. She says, you bend me over a company of I Magnum with a bag full of Oreos while you're screwing my brains out, and I'm a happy camper. You are a sick bunch, I can tell. But you know, that's what we do, and I came to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I never drank from the very first day I got here. You know, but I did other things, man. I did lots of drugs, for example. Now, I'm an alcoholic, a total alcoholic, and I did lots of other things. Now, I don't know how many people are in here tonight, maybe 1,000, 1,200, I was told, so I don't know, but let's have a quick little look. We'll see how... Now, look, the denial is so deep, we don't even notice I am lying. Because I was only a social drinker. Do you believe that? Any other social drinkers in here? One down here, two. We'll soon see. Remember that, 2, 3. Here's why I was a social drinker. Every time anybody said, I'm going for a drink, I said, so shall I. Any other social drinkers here now? Oh. So I come to Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't drink from the very first day I get here. Never drank again from that day to this. I never went to the meeting to quit drinking, so I don't drink. I loved Alcoholics Anonymous. I was embraced by it. The very first meeting I go to, I'm being 12-stepped by an English rock and roll singer I know, and I go to this first meeting, and there's another celebrity English singer leading the meeting as well. And I go, wow, I'm like in the hip crowd here. You know, so that was, I loved it, man. I just loved being here. I swear, and I never drank again. I was doing great. I was doing great. 6 weeks later, I'm in the same meeting, and I am really feeling good and doing great. 6 weeks sober. And that guy who 12-stepped me, he came off of a road tour, and he came to that meeting, and he went, Mick, oh, God, he said, I heard good things while I was away. People have been telling me you've been doing good. You've been going to meetings and doing good. I said, I am. He said, well, what happened? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, what the hell's gone wrong? I said, nothing. Everything's great. 6 weeks sober. He said, what? He said, what the hell are you on? I said, nothing. I ain't took a drink for 6 weeks. He said, well, what are you on? I said, nothing. I ain't even had any of that spiritual booze. you know, that Christian Brothers brandy. You know, he said, well, you're on something, I can tell. You're whacked, you are. I said, what do you mean whacked? He said, well, you're off the wall. I said, what do you mean I'm off the wall? He said, well, what are you on? I said, nothing. He said, you can't be like that on nothing. I said, well, you're wrong. He said, what did you do since you got up this morning? I said, same as I do every morning. He said, what was that? I said, I wake up, I light up a joint. He said, what? I said, I've got one right there. I said, this weekend we had some good indica come in. I said, it's great. Smoked a joint. He said, you can't do that. I said, what do you mean I can't do that? He said, it's a mind-altering chemical. I said, no it ain't, it's pot. He said, what a dick. Keep coming back, he said. I said, screw you. It don't mean pot. It's alcohol. Alcoholics Anonymous. Don't mean pot. I ain't got a problem with pot. Pot only does two things to me. Makes me horny and makes me hungry. That's it. No big deal. Just because some mornings I wake up with a sore arm on a bed full of pizza crust, that's no big deal. What are you laughing at? Oh, you relate to that, huh? For you newcomers, I can tell you this program works. I don't eat pizza in bed anymore. So I carry on doing it. I don't think I've got a problem with that. Just because I sit and look at my foot for 4 hours. You know? Whole days would go by. So when it gets dark, I've been sitting there while I've been expanding my mind. Didn't have a problem with anything else either. Never drank. It's alcohol. Alcoholics Anonymous. Never drank. Not drinking alcohol. Because it didn't mean anything else. Didn't have a problem with nothing else. Didn't have a problem with speed, crystal, crank. I liked a little speed, crystal, crank. Anybody here do a little speed? Anybody do a lot? Did it make your dick disappear too? I mean, I had inhibitions, man. I'd do some speed or some crystal and I could go out and talk to you lovely ladies. Oh, talk. Grind my teeth out, like that. Sure, I could talk to you. Well, I might as well have said, you want to come home and we'll talk about sex? There's no chance of getting any. Old disappearing dick here, you know. I didn't think I had a problem with that. Didn't think I had a problem with cocaine. I like cocaine. Anybody here do a little cocaine? Anyone do a lot? Do anything for cocaine except pay for it. Didn't like doing that. Hallucinogenics. Talking about hallucinogenics in there. Pat was talking about a boy, like talking about doing LSD. I mean, I loved hallucinogenics, man. I loved LSD, dust, MDA, all that crap, man. When I read in the beautiful book, Taking a Trip, Not Taking a Trip, I went, whoa! I mean, far out. Then when I saw you be rocketed into the fourth dimension, I thought, wow! Some of the shit I've took, I've been rocketed into the 10th dimension, man. Takes a long time. Takes a long time to get. The one who says time don't count, man, that's I got news for you. Time is the essence. To get your time, man. Time. When I was 9 years sober, my sponsor is a judge, man. I'm an old bank robber, and my sponsor is a judge. He gave me a 9-year cake. You know, I thanked him for that, gave him a hug, and it suddenly dawned on me, I'd never thanked a judge for nothing in my life, you know. But, you know, I reflected when I was 9 years sober, then I got a big part of my brain back here that I ain't used in years, man. There's big dark archives back here. I figured, 9 years sober, I'll try and use that back there. I threw a thought back there. The thought came hurtling back, man. It said, you're nuts, you are, trying to use that back there. There's a big sign back there saying this whole section's closed down. You blew through here in a Pink Floyd concert in the 60s, Father Mucker. Didn't care about heroin. I liked heroin. I didn't care if I puked on you, for Christ's sake. Puked everywhere. I'm a puker. Puked right there. Puked on the Queen's lawn. Twice I went to Buckingham Palace. Puked right on the Queen's lawn. Like that. Today I take that as a no. I can promise you there's no such thing as high bottoms and low bottoms, because I've been to Buckingham Palace twice, got drunk, went into a blackout and puked on the Queen's lawn. Now, when I escaped from England in 1978, I arrived in New York. I was going with a black chick then, and you know, her mother lived in Jamaica, Queens. If any of you know New York, you know Jamaica, Queens. Very special area. Anyway, we go out to visit her mum, right? So, like, we go out, and of course we do what we do. We get drunk and go into a blackout and puke. So that high bottom, low bottom crap is just like, forget it. Because I've puked on the Queen's lawn and puked on a lawn in Queens. It didn't matter where I was, for heaven's sake. You know, this disease don't know or care. It's equal opportunity destroyer of a disease, man. Wants all equally. I was at a meeting once where a 10-year-old girl took a 3-year birthday cake. This disease didn't know that it was like 10 years, you know, as a mere child, wants us all drinking and using, man. This disease don't know or care. Wants us all equally. This disease don't know that you're man, you're woman, you're tall, you're short, you're black, you're white, you're ugly, I'm good looking. It don't know that. It don't care, man. Wants us all drinking. Do anything to get us drinking. So I don't know, but it's Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics. I don't know. I carry on doing that crap. That's why I don't celebrate my birthday until May 8th. Because that was the last all-mind-altering chemicals. You know, and I am here to tell you that it just stopped. It wasn't working. I wasn't drinking, but I was doing that other stuff. And you know, you just told me to keep coming back. You didn't tell me get out. You didn't tell me go somewhere else. You didn't do that. You encouraged me to keep coming back, and I did, and more got revealed. And I weaned off of that stuff. You know, just kept on doing, didn't drink. Now, I don't know whether there's anybody in here who takes offence to that. But, you know, this is an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, for heaven's sake, and I'm a real alcoholic of our kind, as described in this beautiful book, Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, let's have a little, just for my satisfaction, is there any alcoholics in the room that just and only drank alcohol? That just drank alcohol? Let's show of hands. Great. There's about, I don't know, maybe 100. You know? I'm really glad you're here. But if we all left, you'd be very lonely. And if there's anybody in a wonder, stay here. This is Alcoholics Anonymous. This is the best gig in town. I didn't know that when I got here. I had so delusionary thing. I had no God in my life, no protection, no like. I mean, I didn't understand what the hell was going on. God in my life, God, man, and I couldn't do all that. What time is it? 10:05. You know, the God of the two things that I'd never ever heard until I got here was, one, drug of choice. I'd never ever heard that until I got here. Nobody out there, when I was backstage at a Rolling Stones concert or something, nobody ever came up to me and said, "Hey dude, what's your drug of choice?" Nobody ever said that, man. And I can promise you, I certainly, you know, if they said, "Mick, you want to come and do some of this good shit we've got back here?" I never once said, "Certainly not. My drug of choice is Jack Daniels, for Christ's sake." Never happened. My drug of choice, if I had a drug of choice, you know what it was? Yours! Yours, whatever you had. Didn't matter what it was, just wanted more of it. And then that was usually followed by, is it good and will you front me some? I was on the phone one day and I looked down and I saw a pill on the floor. I went, oh, look at that. And I swooped on it, picked it up and ate it. Didn't know what the hell it was, for heaven's sake. It was a pill. Could have been a bloody dog worming pill for all I know. It might have done something, anything. My drink of choice was the next one. Wasn't even the one I had, it was the next one. So I never heard drug of choice. I don't know from that. Always drank, always drank, never ever not drank. Drank the same as you probably, just sloshing around, full up or as near to being full up as I could get at any given time. If I never had skin, for Christ's sake, I'd have just formed a puddle. You know what I mean? So I never heard that, man. I never heard drug of choice, always drinking. And God of your understanding. I never heard that, son. I'd never heard anybody consciously say a God of your understanding as you understand God. Nobody's ever said that to me that I can remember. Now, I'd been round plenty of cults and plenty of ists and plenty of everything else. But I've been with the Maharishi and the Beatles era, and I've been with the Moonies, and I've been with all kinds of cults and everything else. No one had said like you did, God of your understanding, like Ebby did when he sat across Bill's kitchen table when he first brought the message to Bill. Read the story in the book. Anybody read this book, by the way? It's a good idea. I love this book, man. I've never been married, but if this book had lipstick and a clit, I'd marry it. You know, I mean, did I say that? Did you put them words in my mouth? It's his fault. He said it. I don't believe I said that. True. A God of your understanding. Now, I never had none of that. You know what I did? I just liked Bill. Bill didn't like that God that he had, or didn't like that spirit, so he abandoned it all. I did the same thing. I didn't like the God of my understanding, the God that I've been raised with, and I haven't come here to offend anybody tonight. It's not my intention, but I've been raised a Catholic, and I'm still suffering from that. But, and recovering. But anyway, when you guys said, let go and let God, I went, what? Turn it over to God. I said, what? Pray to God. I said, what? Are you nuts? Pray to God? If I pray to him, he'll know where I am. I've been ducking God for years. I could imagine saying, Holy Father, turn it over, and he goes, there you are, you little fucker, been looking for you. Because God was out to get me for everything. I couldn't do nothing with that God I had. I couldn't even play with the old ding-a-ling, man. They threatened me with God was going to get me. God was going to strike me blind. You play with that, you'll go blind. Well, you know I did anyway. When I found out how good it felt, I thought, well, I'll risk one eye. See, I wanted a softer, easier way even then, right? God of my understanding, and you guys will... See, I abandoned God. I didn't like the God I got. I didn't like the God of my understanding, so I abandoned it all. I didn't do that with nothing else. I didn't do that with anything else, just didn't like the God. So as soon as I became able, and as soon as, like, the fear was no longer there, I just dropped out, man. Never did anything like that. I had no spiritual awakening or spiritual nothing when I got here, you know. Never done it. I never did that with anything else, only with God and with spirituality. I never did that with cars. When I got fed up with the Jaguar, I never said, oh, well, that's it, no more cars for me. Or when I got an MG, and I got a Rolls Royce, and I got a Chevy, when I got another car. I didn't do that with women. You know, when I got fed up with the blonde, I didn't say, that's it, no more women. When I got a redhead, I got fed up with the skinny one and one got a wide load. You know, I mean, what can I tell you? Didn't say, oh, no more women. Only did it with God. Just with God and spirituality. You guys taught me how to be that. You guys, it was a gradual awakening of the educational variety. Heard it right here. Heard it right here. You guys, you know, taught me because I was crazy, man. I was just a lunatic when I got here and I wasn't drinking. So manic and volcanic, man. I was just like crazy. I used to walk around clutching this book, holding this book like this and mumbling and like that, you know. And I just didn't feel spiritual. I didn't feel like I had a God in me. I just felt like this weird character, like throwing up all the time, and I had this devil in me, man. I just didn't feel spiritual. You guys seemed to be, but I was different, and I felt awful, and just like, you know, felt like I had a devil in me, for heaven's sake, puking everywhere. I felt like Linda Blair, for heaven's sake, you know. I just like, and one day I was so crazy, I went, "Get out, devil!" I went, oh, get out, devil, that's G-O-D, that's God. Oh, well, that's what I'll have as my God. He said, I don't have any God I like, I'll have that as my God then. G-O-D, God, get out, devil. And I'd walk around holding this book going, get out, devil, God, get out, devil, mumbling. And, you know, I learned that, you know, keep coming back, that you guys, you know, are power greater than myself, a higher power. You know, not a human power, HP, higher power. You know, me plus you was a power greater than me. Whatever value I put on you was a power greater than me. And you plus us is a power greater than you. So right there was good enough. And just as I was getting into that train of thought, I heard somebody in a meeting say, God could mean good orderly direction. Oh no, before that he said it could mean group of drunks. I went, oh wow, I like that. Yeah, I'm going to upgrade now to that God. They said I can have any God I like. I'm having that God then. Group of drunks, group of drug addicts. That'll do me. That's my God. So that's what I had. And then I got one of them sponsors, you know. And he turned out to be a right shit. But, you know, I had him in the beginning. I was going with a girl then, and she was doing drugs like me, and when pennies started dropping, I said, well, should I dump this chick or what? He went, no, keep her on with 12-stepper, bring her to a meeting. I said, all right. I asked, you want to go there and then meeting? She said, yeah, I'd like to go. So we did. Me, the sponsor, and the chick. Well, that night, they decided they liked each other better than me. It's fun. Anyway, you know, good orderly direction was the next. You know, and so it was the awakening, and so I have it today. You know, and you guys have taught me, and I never knew nothing like that, man. I just never had a clue as to what was going on. Never had a clue. You guys on every level, every day, all the time, tell me and direct me and give me that you know, that acknowledgement of Alcoholics Anonymous. One alcoholic relating to another alcoholic. Real great. I love being a sober member of Alcoholics Anonymous. People don't always understand it. People ask me what I do for a living. I tell them I stay sober for a living, make money as a hobby. You know, don't understand that always. But if I don't stay sober, I don't have no living. You know, try and pass that message on. See, when I got here, I was so sick. And you guys said, Mick, you got to stop doing it. I said, what do you mean, stop doing it? They said, we got a disease called alcoholism. We're sicker than other people. That's what stop means. S-T-O-P. Sicker than other people. Oh, does it? Yeah. He said, oh, sicker than others patrol, and you're a member. I said, oh, am I? He said, yeah. I went, oh, all right. Well, what do we do now? We get granted a gift. Oh, I like gift. What kind of a gift? A God-given gift. Gift of sobriety. Oh, is that right? Yeah, that's right. That's what the word gift means. G-I-F-T. God is forever there. Oh, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Oh. Well, what's he there for? The beautiful book tells us, remember we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it's too much for us. He's there to help us. H-E-L-P is how you spell help. Stands for His ever-loving presence. Oh, is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Oh, well, I don't ask people for help. You know, I'm a earth man. I can't be so bloody heavenly that I'm no earthly good. No, that's why we got a program. Program? What do you mean program? Program. Program. People relying on God, relaying a message. That's what the program is. Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, that's what it is. Oh. What does it mean when your nipple goes hard? Does yours do that? Feels good. You're a sick bunch, you are. Program. Threw me off there. Program what? This program. Oh, well, where do I find out about that? How do I find out about the program? You got to want it. You got to ask for it. Ask? What do you mean ask? ASK. Ask saving kit. That's what your ask saving kit is. You got to ask. Oh, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Oh, what should I ask? Try a sponsor. Sponsor? What do you mean a sponsor? SPONSOR. Sober person offering newcomers suggestions on recovery. That's what a sponsor is. Yeah. Oh, what shall I ask him? What's in the book? Book? What book? This book, the big book. Big book? What do you mean big book? BIGBOOK. Believing in God beats our old knowledge. Oh, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Oh, well, what's in the book? The steps. Steps? What do you mean, steps? STEPS. Solution to every problem, sober. Oh, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Oh. Have I got to do the steps? Of course you got to do the steps. Well, why have I got to do the steps, for heaven's sake? Because if you try and quit drinking and don't replace it with the steps, you go crazy, you go nuts. Nuts? What do you mean nuts? NUTS. Not using the steps. That's what it means. Oh man, is that what it means? Yeah, that's what it means. Does everybody work the steps? No, not everybody works the steps. Oh, well, why have I got to work them then? Why are you picking on me? Why have I got... Well, you don't have to work the steps. You can try and quit drinking and, not work the steps if you like. End up like those other people. Well, what are they like? Oh, well, you can come to one of those meetings. You'll see them walking around, not working the steps, full of fear. Fear? What do you mean, fear? FEAR. Frantic efforts to appear recovered. Yeah, you'll see them. You'll see them walking around trying to appear like they know some crap. You know? Do you work the steps? Of course I work the steps. Why the hell do you work the steps? So I stay sober. Sober? What do you mean sober? SOBER. Son of a bitch. Everything's real. That's what it means. Oh, man. Well, what do you want to be sober for? What do I want to be sober for? I'll tell you why I want to be sober. Because I came here a hopeless dope fiend. Now I'm a dopeless hope fiend. That's why I want to be sober. Hope? What do you mean, hope? HOPE is how you spell hope. Stands for happy our program exists. And that's what my gratitude is for this program, man. Happy that I love being a sober member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I love it, man. Just doing what it takes to stay sober one day at a time. You know, coming to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and relating one alcoholic to another alcoholic. The only thing that works. The only thing that works for the majority of us. Just like our beautiful book says. The message of Alcoholics Anonymous. Even the book, man. Even the book. I love this book. I love everything about this book. I love the name Alcoholics Anonymous. I love the way it sounds. I love people who say Alcoholics Anonymous a lot. I like speakers who keep saying Alcoholics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous. It's got a ring to it to me. You know, I just love the way it sounds. You know, may not sound that way to you, but I understand that. After all, you lot do speak funny. Anyway, I just do, I love it. Alcoholics Anonymous. Even the word, look, Alcoholics Anonymous. This is how my mind works. I'll give you a clue. Look, ALCOHOLICS, alcoholics, right? ANONYMOUS, Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous. This is what it means to me. A life centered on helping others lives in complete sobriety. Actions, not our names, yield maintenance of unity and service. Can you dig that? That's what it means, man. That's what it means. The actions we take to be of love and service, like Dr. Bob told us, actions we take, and that's what we do here, don't we? That's what we do here. I'm immensely grateful to the committee for asking me to come. It's adding to my experience and my sobriety. I'll leave you with a little clue. If there is anybody in the room tonight that's wondering whether they are or whether they isn't a real alcoholic or not, I'll give you a clue. We come here to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings to relate one alcoholic to another alcoholic, right? And how we relate to that is I've heard some laughter tonight. And they say, if you're laughing, you're relating. So if you're wondering whether you is or isn't a real alcoholic or not, you better not have laughed in here tonight. Because you may have contacted this disease. Because you catch it in these rooms, you do know that, don't you? I wasn't alcoholic till I came here. So if you're laughing, you're relating, and if you're relating to this sicko up here, there ain't no doubt about you, pal. Because I do not get through to well people. Well people don't laugh at my shit. You people, my people, laugh at my crap. That's why I say to you, this is who I am, and this is what I got. And you're welcome to share it. And thank you for being you. God bless you. Thank you.